From the city to rural North America, this is Rural America Live, connecting the people who grow America's food and fiber with those who enjoy it. Call in, let's talk. It's Rural America Live.
So last year we had a wheat average of 102 bushel an acre. Right now we're seeing 105 bushel.
The liquid carbon, it's like a jump start. This stuff will get popped out of the ground, get going a little faster, and we'll get ahead of the game again.
Everybody always asks, what's the cost? It's not what it costs, it's actually what it saves you.
We're seeing the $30 to $40 net income to the bottom line. And you spread that over the acres, it adds up.
You got to try it. At least try a little bit and see your results, and most likely they'll be coming back again next year getting more.
Good evening and welcome to Rural America Live on RFD-TV and to you listeners on Rural Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80. I'm Mark Oppold, RFD-TV News Director. Thank you so much for joining us for this hour. Tonight we are joined, as you hear and see, by our folks and friends from Monty's Plant Food Company. They brought with them two special guests, in fact, who you'll meet during the hour and share their experience using Monty's Plant Food products. In fact, let me introduce Joe Dedman. Once again, Joe is Vice President of Agronomy for Monty's, and he's brought with him Ray Tucker. Ray is a wheat, corn, soybean, and tobacco farmer from the state of Kentucky. Joe, good to see you again.
It's great to be back, Mark.
You know,
really enjoy this.
Whenever Monty's comes, it means that spring is not that far away. So
that's right. I hope so.
But along other things, you and Gary and the whole team here, it's good to see you all again.
Oh, yeah, it's been great.
And Ray Tucker, good to have you here. And tell our listeners and viewers, what kind of a year was it in Shelbyville, Kentucky?
Well, compared to 2012, where we had our drought, last year, we had ample rainfall in 2013, and it was really a good year for all the farmers there at home. And we're just excited to see what 2014 is going to bring for the upcoming year.
Can't get here soon enough, isn't it?
That's right.
And you obviously have used the Monty's products, and that's why you're here. I think it's good to have that producer perspective. Thanks, Joe, for bringing him, and something that you have used, and you are expanding the use in all those products I just mentioned.
We have. We've been using the products consistently for the last 3 years, and we've used them for longer than that. They're really keeping accurate records and data in different fields that we're using now.
And you brought some help with you tonight here, I know.
I did. We, my wife Stephanie and my daughter Caitlin and son Nathan, they're in studio with us tonight, and glad to have them here.
Absolutely,
with us.
Thanks for bringing them. Please come back anytime. Good to have you here, and we're looking forward to your input here and what you found with Monty's there in Kentucky. Joe, let's get started here and we're going to talk a lot about Monty's liquid carbon. If viewers and listeners are hearing about Monty's for the first time, they're going to hear a lot about that. Talk about liquid carbon and soil health.
Well, and that's been our focus on RFD over the years, is we focused on soil health. I've been with Monty since 2005, so I've been with them a little over 8 years. And I was in the industry for about 37 years of dealing with farmers. And so many farmers focus on everything above the soil. And they look at their crops, they see them, they go, well, I really need to do something to my crop. But really, the crop is telling them there's something wrong under the soil, in the soil. And so our focus at Monty's has been on soil health. Improving the balance and the health of the soil will always give you higher yields. And I think we're going to hear that tonight, especially from Ray and the other one. But you'll also hear the word mentioned humic.
Yeah.
And so liquid carbon and liquid humic is the same type component. And it's our activated humic technology that really makes everything work better. And as you know that all the bacteria in the soil is what makes the difference because they all work together. They work in harmony to feed the crop, bring things to the root system. And so the difference of the humics is it's all about our humic technology that really makes that difference on the soil.
Yeah, you talk about soil health, and would you say that more and more producers like Ray and others all over the country are really focusing on what's under the ground rather than as well as what's on top of the soil?
I think that they are moving in that direction because we've seen a lot of ads in the magazines. We're seeing things in publications that is now starting to direct farmers to look in the soil, improve that soil health, and the minute that they start doing that, they begin to see a whole lot difference in their growing their crops and sustaining through stress periods.
They can still do the same thing above the soil, but if they keep that soil health. And the benefits of humics, before we're going to have a video that I'm going to describe a little bit more. Talk a little bit more about.
Well, and you do see a whole lot of benefits for the viewing audience. There's something on the screen, but it also relates to a biological activity in the soil. You always see more root growth. You'll see nutrient uptake with this larger root mass, of course. It helps with all kinds of disease resistance, photosynthesis, and one of the most important things that it helps with the nitrogen stabilization in the soil. And then our product also buffers nitrogen, which we'll hear a little bit more about that in a little bit.
Okay, our first video is, this is a dealer of yours in Illinois. Kind of set this up for us.
Yeah, he's been using our product now for about 3 or 4 years, and he has really gone in the direction of wheat, of putting it in with nitrogen and buffering that salt content in the nitrogen, which doesn't affect that wheat and doesn't burn it. And he's got some really good results from that.
All right, let's go to Illinois and take a look.
My name is Dale Brookins, and I'm an area manager for Southern FS. I've been in the Southern Illinois part of the country here, and I've been with the company around 28 years. The predominant product we've been using on an extensive basis has been the Monty's liquid humic, which we've been using extensively on wheat. We're actually using liquid humic on 2 different crops in our area. We use it predominantly on wheat, but we've also been using it on soybeans also. The reason we started using the liquid humic is because we have a large amount of wheat acres in our area, and we're broadcasting liquid 32 over the top of wheat. And at that time, we was getting a severe burn on our wheat when we were spraying herbicides and also the 32% at the same time. We were seeing severe burns. So that's the time we started looking at other products. And the one we chose was Monty's. The very first year we used it was on a few acres, and it did really well. So the next year, which had been this past spring, early spring, we decided to use it on that. And at that time, we've seen no burn on wheat from applying this product with herbicides and the 32 at the same time. I think some of the advantage of it, the product's easy to handle, and we can handle that in many different forms. We handle it in 2.5 gallon containers, or we handle that in mini bulk. So the product's easy to handle. It mixes well. We don't have any type of problems when we're mixing it with any type of herbicide or liquid fertilizer. We never have any types of problems with that. So from a retailer's point of view, that's pretty handy that we don't have to have those type of problems. I think you should feel relaxed and have some assurance if you're going to use the Monty's liquid humic, because we've seen it used the past 2 or 3 years, and we've used it on several thousands of acres, and we've seen excellent results. Plant health, we've seen it when we've had extra increase in bushels. We've seen no trouble with mixing it, contamination problems, those types. And it's also a product that's very easy to use. On wheat alone, we're looking on a return on investment. We're spending around 14 or 15 bucks an acre, and we're getting around about $84 in return for that. So I'd say that's a pretty good return on your investment any day. We've used a couple different of their products in the past for some foliar treatment, which was a 215-15 and an 8-16-8, and we've had excellent results with this. But we've heard they've got a new product come out, which is Agrihance, and we're looking forward to using that in the future.
Monty's Liquid Carbon is a soil conditioner designed to reduce soil compaction and improve overall soil health. It can be easily applied all year round, especially during burn down. Liquid Carbon enhances micronutrient uptake and breakdown of plant residue. Improve the health and vitality of your soil and maximize your yields with Monty's Liquid Carbon. Harvest results.
And we'll be looking and listening to other videos throughout the evening. We'll also be taking your telephone calls throughout our program, and our folks from Monty's want to open the phone lines right now. If you have a question and we're making your plans for 2014, they want to hear from you. Phone number is toll-free 877-731-6733. Again, lines open right now, 877-731-6733. And Dale Brookins bringing up a lot of interesting thoughts there. We can't cover all, but Joe, maybe just a summary of some of the things that our viewers saw and listeners were hearing from that video.
Right. And Dale keyed in on one of the things about the very unique proprietary ingredients that we have in our product, that it did buffer the burn when he's putting on the nitrogen product, which is a huge impact on the wheat. And then it also helped with many of the other things, even mixing it with chemicals and stuff he was talking about over top of soybeans. But you know, one of the things that farmers are really keyed in on, of course, is always yield. I want more yield. How do I get it? And this year we've got some discouragement, I guess, with commodity prices going down a little bit. So the farmer goes, well, what do I need to really focus on? And one of the things is our product relates to that soil health. And if we can get him to maintain the soil health, that will give him better return on his investment any day.
Yeah, Ray, let's pick up on that a little bit. You know, obviously you as a producer, Ray Tucker joining us. If you're just joining us on the program tonight from Kentucky, obviously prices are way down from where they were a year ago, and every dollar counts. So how does that work into your equation looking ahead to 2014 season?
Well, as Mark, as we've taken notes of the last 3 years, with soil tests of the last 3 years of the fields,
yeah,
you know, we can't afford not to use it. You know, we're seeing our CEC levels raise, we're seeing our organic matter raise. You know, it's one of those things that when commodity prices are low, you know, it's easy to spend extra money when prices are high. But it's even more important when we have commodity prices the way they are right now.
Yeah. And you have about, what, 2,000 acres there in Shelbyville, Kentucky?
We farm 2,000 acres of corn, wheat, soybeans, and tobacco.
And tell us how you were introduced to the Monty's products.
Well, when Joe worked at the Southern States Co-op back years ago, and Joe and I worked together then, and then when Joe went to work for Monty's, I was introduced to it then. You know, it kind of shied away from it for a while because of cost, and then as we became farming more acres, I realized how important it was for, you know, getting the soil underneath the plant, getting it healthy to it so it can produce all it can.
Mm-hmm. So give us an idea, how has Monty's products and the liquid carbon worked for you?
Well, it's been working very well, Mark. You know, we've seen excellent results in yield. When yield, obviously, in turn, makes more dollars to the bottom line. We're, you know, with using the carbon and the Agrihance V and R, you know, it's just putting more money in our pocket.
Mm-hmm. There's a slide for those of you listening on Rural Radio Sirius XM Channel 80. Is that some tobacco that we see there?
Mark, that's actually some seed tobacco for seed production,
okay.
And that's Caitlin and Nathan there in the picture.
Yeah, and it looks to me very healthy and taller than I would normally expect a tobacco plant.
Well, and again, that's tobacco for seed production, and it does get very tall. That tobacco there is about 12 to 13 feet tall, which is about normal for, you know, seed production.
Okay, and a lot of folks are going to be wondering, okay, well, what rate are you? Are you using heavy rates, or help them out there?
Well, we started off the program using a half gallon of carbon per acre. You know, 3 years ago we started using a half gallon on our corn acres. In 2012 we put on a gallon on every acre of our crops, and then in 2013 we put on a gallon of every acre, a gallon to the acre on all our acres. And that's where we're seeing some of these results come in.
Yeah, you've got, and Joe, that's what that rate is what you'd recommend for folks around the country, no matter what the crop or the plant.
Yeah, and kind of Ray is leading the forefront on that because he has seen the results. We've talked about it even here on the programs that, you know, we want farmers to use the basic rate, but if you have different circumstances, we usually recommend higher. Well, Ray did that. In fact, he's going. I think even this year, you're thinking about going three times the rate,
Let's
right?
talk about that. Well, yeah, your plans for this year, Ray.
Plans for 2014 is using 2 gallons to the acre. And the reason we're doing that is, you know, if we can see these results in 3 years, you know, let's see if we can do it quicker.
And that's on all, you got corn, soybeans, wheat, tobacco. Is that right on the farm there? Yeah.
Yeah, we're using 2 gallons on every acre we've got this year.
What do the neighbors think about that? I'm always, you know, they can see the difference from, and we've got a couple of pictures again for those that are listening. A picture of Ray. I guess this is your farm here, Ray?
Yes.
Harvesting corn there, looks like, and again, a healthy stand. What are some of the other things you see with the Monty's that helping your soil? And then that brings out the best in your seed and your fertilizer and other chemicals that you use, correct?
Yes, it does. You know, it's one question that I heard, especially in 2012, you know, why does your corn look healthier than mine? And then, you know, we go into, well, you know, with the carbon, with the Agrihance S that we're using in row, in furrow with the planter, then coming back with the Agrihance V. And in corn, we're not using AgriHance R just simply because it's so hard to get back over the top.
And Ray is giving us some of the products here, those of you, and we'll talk more about that, the different products with Joe here coming up. Our phone lines are open as you take a look at some of those of you watching, and the products are available right now from Monty's, but phone lines are open at 877-731-6733. We look forward to hearing from you as you make your plans. 877-731-6733. And Joe, the real I guess satisfying thing for you is that what you hear from people like Ray, you're hearing for all different crops all over the country.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have been hearing it from, like you're saying, all over the country, that people always love to experiment. Farmers love to experiment with products. And then when we do see some results, they go, well, wonder what happens if I use it a little bit more at a little higher rate. And Ray's one of those too. He kind of did that too. But we do have farmers all over the country that is beginning to focus on that soil health component. And when they do, they're seeing a whole lot more results start to happen, because Ray is really testifying tonight to everything that Gary and I have been talking about over the last several shows. Was try it here and it'll help you with your fertilizer usage. Try it over here, it will help with the root mass and all that. Well, he's actually seen that in person on his crops, so that's why he's doing the things that he's doing. And we really appreciate that.
Sure, I'm sure. You have another video here. This is David Hill, Territory Sales Manager, right, for Southern States, Joe?
Yes, yeah. He works local here with us and Ray as well. And he's been using our product for some 10 years or so.
And so what are we going to, roughly, we're going to talk more about it, but what's David going to tell us?
Well, really, he's going to kind of back up exactly what Ray's saying, that when David he has understood our products, and now when he goes out and talks to a lot of other farmers, he says, well, about 99 times out of 100, I recommend one of Monty's products to help with that particular situation.
All right. Here's David Hill, Territory Sales Manager, and those of you listening on Sirius XM Channel 80 as well. David Hill.
What we like best about the Monty's product is the diversity. They've got several products for different stages of growth. There's different products for different crops. They're always coming out with new products to come to market with. There's very good representation from the Monty's people, and they are committed to agriculture, and they've been around for quite a while, so they have a lot of sustainability. We've been using Monty's for about 10 years in one form or another, and the good thing about Monty's is that it has proven itself time and again, and I feel confident when I make a recommendation to a farmer based on what crop or what stage I'm looking at, that the product that I'm recommending from Monty's will do what it's labeled to do, and they have people to stand behind that. Well, AgriHance S is an excellent product. We're using it as our starters in the pop-up, also in the setter barrel for the tobacco. The AgriHance S is their tried and true formulation of fertilizer with the sugars added to it and carbon. So you're getting the best of all three worlds with that product. And you don't have to mix it in the field. All the rates are set for you with a standard application. And we already know that the fertilizer end of it works because we've used that formulation for years by itself. The AgriHance products are very soluble and easy to use. You have a set application rate in most cases. The products we've used in the past, a lot of them have been water soluble. They take a lot of effort and time to mix up. Monty's is 100% soluble. It's in a liquid form. It's pre-mixed for you. So once you put it in the tank under agitation, it's ready to go, and it's much easier in the field than some of the products we've used in the past. I recommend Monty's in most any instance where I think that an application of a fertilizer type application would benefit the farmer. If we don't feel like due to certain conditions that application is right, then we don't make a recommendation for a product like that. But 99 times out of 100, that product that I recommend will be one of Monty's products. It's an ease of application, it's low use rates, and it's compatible with what they're doing over the field at other times with herbicides and fungicides. So it's pretty much an easy call to make. And most farmers out here with the price of grain today, you'd be surprised, most of them are looking for something to help push that yield up another bushel or two, and Monty's is an easy fit for that. We have always felt that the farmers got a good return on their money from Monty's products, and the farmers feel that way as well. They've used it for years. They keep coming back. They try all the new products. We've seen their basic products over the years actually add weight to tobacco. No doubt about that. We have run test plots where we've seen 6 to 8 bushel difference in soybeans on the sides of the field where it was applied versus where it wasn't. And most of the farmers realize for the small amount of money that they've got invested in the Monty's program that it will yield benefits that they can actually take to the bank.
And by the way, those of you watching RFD-TV, the combine I was just mentioning, I didn't know, rolling along, pretty good clip, and Ray, you said, that's me.
Yeah, that was us in 2012 during the drought. And, you know, for the viewers that saw the video, it was, you know, the corn looked pretty good for the drought we were in that year.
So what else did you pick up that you want to share with listeners or viewers that from the video from David and some of the things he talked about?
Well, like David said in the video, you know, it's very tank mix compatible. You know, it's one thing that we really do enjoy about the product is that, you know, we can just mix it so easy with, you know, whether we're just applying carbon, you know, with burn down or carbon with fungicides or herbicides or whatever. It's so simple to use. And it's one thing, it's very friendly.
Yeah, there you go. It's something that I don't think we've used that word before tonight, and we've used it before. Simple to use. Let's make sure that our listeners and viewers understand that from a producer standpoint. That's important.
Yeah. It is. It's very important, especially from a producer standpoint. I mean, we need what's easy, what's fast, and what's simple when we're out there in the field because we're trying to make time count.
All right. Again, our telephone lines are open for you to join us here on Rural America Live. Our friends from Monty's Plant Foods, and that toll-free number is 877-731-6733. Lines are open. We're going to start in the great state of Indiana. Someone back in the control room said. I think I know who that was, some Hoosier back there. This is Rosie. Rosie, you are from a great state. Welcome to our program.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I have what we call pigweed in my hayfield. And my hayfield's alfalfa, timothy, and orchard grass. Can you tell me how I get rid of the pigweed without killing everything?
Boy, that's a tough one, Rosie. It's I know there are some chemicals on the market. I would just go to your local dealer and explore some of those routes. There's probably some even things on the internet you can Google up. But of course, you'll want something very safe for your livestock and so forth that you have on there, or even if you're baling it for hay. But increasing the soil health will actually help with discouragement of weeds growing in your field. So you might try that.
Yeah, and a caller, thanks Rosie for the call, and just to again be clear, that's what Monty's does and what it doesn't do. It's not, you know, it's not meant for weed control. No. It's to help the soil.
But once you improve the soil health, you'll overcome many of the weed issues.
All right. And we're going to take more of your telephone calls. Let's make sure that you know that telephone number as we continue through this hour, 877-731-6733, 877-731-6733. We've heard some great information from Joe and Ray about the successes of Monty's products and Monty's liquid carbon for one. We're going to take our first break. Ray will be leaving us for a little time. He'll be back later in our program to help answer your calls from a producer's standpoint as well. When we do return, we'll talk more about Monty's products. Joe will still be here and we'll introduce you to another of Monty's guests tonight. That is Chris Weaver from the mill in Maryland. Back with more right after this. You're watching Rural America Live on RFD-TV and Sirius XM Channel 80. Welcome back to Rural America Live. I'm Mark Oppold with Monty's Plant Food Company. Thanks for joining us. Before we took that break, we're talking about Monty's liquid carbon successes that farmers like Ray Tucker from Kentucky have seen, and you heard about that. And we're going to continue to take your telephone calls during our program. So please, if you have a question, call in. The lines are open. The number is toll-free, 877-731-6733. I'd like to introduce now Chris Weaver, sales agronomist for the mill located in northern Maryland. The mill, by the way, listed among the top 100 dealers mentioned in Crop Life magazine. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me tonight, Mark.
You and I've been to your part of the world, so it's good to have you in our studio here.
Thank you.
And the folks from the mill, maybe just talk about your background and a little bit about the mill.
Like you said, I am the mill's sales agronomist. We're a small or a family-owned company there in central Maryland and southern Pennsylvania. Primarily, we have 6 locations, and 3 of which are crop locations.
Mm-hmm. And you have, this is one of your offices that folks watching RFD-TV, but you service how wide an area? Maryland and
Maryland and southern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and talk about your relationship with Monty's.
In 2010, we became a dealer of Monty's, and in 2010 and 11, we primarily focused in on using Monty's liquid carbon in row or with 30% solution, 2 quarts to the acre. Following then in 2012, we really focused in on our wheat crop, where we'd add, anytime we put on 30% solution on wheat, we'd add 1/4, 2 quarts to the wheat crop to increase root strength, let alone we were noticing less burning occurring on the wheat crop every time we put on our nitrogen. And then in the last 3 years, we've primarily been really focusing on our Monty's carbon, our Agrihance V and R's towards the vegetable market, primarily sweet corn, and we've had great success with these products.
Yeah, we're going to hear about a little bit more about sweet corn, but the use on corn and other crops, produce, you've already kind of hinted to that, produce of all kinds. Here's corn. We got a picture of you. That's you, I guess, holding, talk about what makes those ears of corn different.
This was a location of ours where we've done a test facility at Gunpowder Game Farm in 2012. The one that is in my hand where my watch is from the treated area with total of 3.5 quarts of Monty's that year. And the one in my other hand is the untreated section that did not have any liquid carbon applied to it.
And those on rural radio, just the circumference, what'd you say, how many, 10% bigger?
I think we're not exaggerating by saying 10%.
Yeah. And we're going to talk more about the produce side and the benefits there, but we have a caller on the line here. And again, our lines are open for you, listeners and or viewers, whatever. If you're an RFD-TV or listening on Sirius XM Channel 80, the number is the same. It's toll-free, 877-731-6733. Let's go to Ohio. And Doug has called us. Doug from the Buckeye State, welcome.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes, I got a question for Joe. I'm looking for a pop-up fertilizer to be used in soybean production to put in with the seed. I wonder if Monty's had a product that would work.
Actually, Doug, we do, and thanks for the call. It's our Agrihance product, the Agrihance S. Has almost no salt at all in it. It's a natural type product. It has a blend of our plant foods as well as the liquid carbon in it. And that is used in the row on the seed. And that's where we're seeing tremendous results. That's what Ray was testifying to here earlier, that he has begun to use it in the row on the corn as well as soybeans. And we're seeing a lot of farmers begin to put a starter directly in the row on the soybean seed. In fact, you can even put a liquid inoculant in with our product to inoculate the seed down the row as you go. So that's a really good product to try. I would appreciate you looking at that.
Very good. Thanks for the call, Doug. We're going to get to some more calls here. In fact, let's go to Alabama, where Jerry has called us. Jerry, welcome to our program. Folks from Monty's are looking forward to talking to you.
Well, thank you very much. I've got a piece of new land that I have. It's been in pasture for several years. Been hayed mostly the last 7 or 8. What can I do about how will the carbon help me? The pH is about 5. I'm going to have to go in and add a lot of fertilizer to it and bring it back up in shape. And I'm wondering if I would be a good candidate for using a 2-gallon. Would it help me that much? And thank you, RFD. I love you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for that call, Jerry. And yes, you are right. You're talking about a situation that you want to improve very rapidly. And 2 gallons to the acre will really get your root system going. It will rev up your soil biology. It will help replenish your mass of your grass and stuff out there to thicken that whole area to really help sustain it throughout the growing season. So I would definitely recommend trying that. And by all means, we tell everybody to leave a little space out in the field that you don't treat so you can actually see how much difference that makes. But yes, I appreciate the call. Thanks,
Very
Jerry.
good. You talk about seeing as believing. Chris, I'm going to go back to you, and you have a video of the mill and some of the successes that you have on some reclaimed land. Kind of set this up for us.
The video you guys are about ready to see is from our test facility, once again at Gunpowder Game Farm, which was an old dairy farm. The piece of land that we picked was a lagoon at one time, and what was done is it's fill dirt that was put back over to the top. In 2011, we started a showcase event. And the main reason for doing this showcase event was to try to stop, separate advertising from agronomics a little bit. And we did a very good job when we became a Monty's dealer. Monty said, we want the worst piece of land you can give us. Well, we found it for him, and it, as you will see in the video, Monty's proved to be everything that we're talking about here tonight. In 2011, we suffered a drought at the showcase event, so our yields were a little bit off. But in 2012, when this video was filmed, Mark, I just believe the corn ears will speak for themselves as we go ahead and say, in 2012, we applied 3.5 total quarts of Monty's onto our treated area, and we were seeing yields in a field that we didn't see substantial yields, well over 100 plus bushels. And this is part of the reason we have so much success, and we really feel confident in selling the Monty's products.
All right, from the mill in Maryland, let's go to take a look at the success stories.
Up-and-coming products for certain companies. The place where we're at currently is the Monty's test field that was an old lagoon site. This farm 10 years ago was purchased by Gunpowder Game Farm. Prior to that, it's been 30 years plus where this was an operating dairy facility. The site that we're currently standing on 10 years ago was one of the holding lagoons. So this was a pond for all the holding coming out of these facilities. When it was purchased 10 years ago by Gunpowder Game Farm, they actually found fill dirt from every construction site, job site around town they could get their hands on and put it in this location. Prior to us starting our testing facility here in 2011, they could not get more than a 40 bushel yield on corn, 10, 15 bushel yield on soybeans. They just kind of had wiped this field away. They actually were just planting grass to it and mowing it because they no longer thought it was a productive field because of all the fill dirt that they brought in. With Monty's coming aboard with us at the testing facility here in 2011, they decided, let's bring this field back into production. They actually wanted the worst ground we could possibly find for them. Well, we found it. This was an old fill dirt field. Soil test and pH was off. We added lime. We did all the basics, and that's where we got testing with the Monty's carbon products to find out what we have here today. The biggest benefit to Monty's carbon is when the competitor came out with a carbon-based product and we started dumping it into tanks, all we noticed is in the bottom of the jug was all the sludge. Everything was left over. Well, my guys didn't like spraying it. My guys didn't like doing anything with it. So we kind of got away from all the competitive products. When Monty's first came to us, my guys were like, yeah, we've done this before. Dennis Stevens came to us and said, look, stir up the jug. Look, there's no sediment on the bottom of the jug. You can dump it in. I promise, no sprayer problems. To this day, we have not had a sprayer problem. We have not had any issues putting it through our rigs or anything. So that's the main reason we're moving forward with the Monty's product, let alone out here now we're seeing the yield results, and the guys in the field are happy using it. The farmers are seeing the result on the other side, getting more bushels per acre. So that's where we're moving forward with the Monty's products at this time. The big advantage to running Monty's this year to us and to the farmers so far is what we've seen. This spring we applied 2 quarts of carbon to every acre of wheat that we sprayed. So far in this area between Carroll and Baltimore County, the guys we were dealing with saw anywhere between 70 to 100 bushel wheat. All of it went for good wheat this year, and a lot of them are contributing it to the Monty's product for root development. We weren't seeing the wheat going down like we had in past years, which we think we were getting a stronger stem and better root mass throughout the year, which in their opinion, if they can combine wheat standing up, that makes a happier spring or summer. In our checked area, we used 150 units of nitrogen with our starter blend of a 1848. In our treated section where we ran the Monty's carbon, the only difference was we put 2 quarts of Monty's carbon in with our starter mix, came back at post-application with a glyphosate treatment, and added another quart of Monty's carbon. In 2012, on the same 2 areas, on our check we ran the exact same analysis in 2012. The only difference was in 2012 we came back, added 1.5 quarts of Monty's carbon with our starter, and a post-application did 2 quarts of carbon with a glyphosate treatment. The big difference that we're seeing is this is the corn from our treated area, and then this is the corn from our from our check. And as you see from there, there's tremendous difference from our checked area and our treated area.
Very good. And Ben Husen in that video is with you tonight, too, by the way. Good to see Ben again. It was, for me, to be great to be out to see the mill. Just a real quick summary there, kind of what you talked about and what you saw again,
The
Chris.
real big thing to focus in on is in 2011, we went in with a penetrometer to try to see how hard the soil was. We couldn't get it in the ground. In the treated area in 2012, in that video, we could get the penetrometer back in the ground. So we did loosen the soil up, and we're getting some microbial activity happening, which I think is really contributing to a lot of our corn success.
What you hear, that's what you want to hear.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, get that bacteria working again.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's go to Alabama. Joey's been holding on. Joey, thanks for doing that, and I hope you enjoyed listening there to the video, or Louisiana, I'm sorry. Joey, welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Just fine. Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yes, we actually hooking up planters, getting ready to put our corn in the ground down here pretty soon, and we usually go in with 1137 wind through, and it's cold and damp, and just looking for something to maybe perk that plant up a little bit and get it going good.
That's a great question, Joey, because we get that asked a lot of times is, how would your product help with what I'm already doing or what I have been doing? And 1137 is a product that many farmers use, and that's exactly where we start. We say, you know what, if you put the liquid carbon in with the 1137 not only will you buffer the salt issue that's in with that 1137 but you'll also help with that entire environment right around the seed to bump up the biology, to get that going. It will help warm up the soil right around that seed zone, and it'll help with germination as well. So I would appreciate you just trying that to see what you see happen.
As well, it'll help free up a lot of the nutrients that are already in the soil to help that corn to get a jump start.
Absolutely, that's true.
Chris, you mentioned doing that produce of all kinds really at the mill, and you have another example here, sweet corn. Set up this video that we're going to share.
This next video we're going to look at is what I call a true conservationist. Ed Stansfield and his father both like to think outside the box. In the last few years, we've kind of drifted away from the commercial fertilizers. He still uses commercial 30%, but we've tried different products. We've really found that the Agrihance V and the R are the products for us. Prior to using the Monties, we tried a water-soluble triple 19 products. Besides the cost per acre that were out of line, we also had problems with the mixing, as well as we weren't getting timely results from the product that we were using that the Agrihance V and the R bring to the table for his production. In this video, you'll see that we're getting elongated root systems. We're increasing, in a lot of plants, we have 2 ears per stalk. This operation mechanically harvests their sweet corn. By doing that, they only get one shot a year at growing an adequate crop. And by bringing the Agrihance products to the table, we've really helped to increase their dozens per acre.
All right, sweet corn. Let's take a look. Sounds good, doesn't it?
My name's Ed Stanfield from Baltimore County, Maryland. I've been a commercial sweet corn grower for over 15 years. My family's been farming I'm the fourth generation now. I was first introduced to Monty's products by Chris Weaver at the mill up at Black Horse in Harford County. And at that time, I had just started using some foliars that were okay, but I started using Monty's, and this is my third year now. My sweet corn, except for UAN up front at 60 gallons to the acre, everything else has been supplemented foliar, and we've been getting tremendous results. I'm now moving over into soybeans to live off of foliar also. We're able to see a green up on corn, particularly within 12 hours. Yes, 12 hours after application of a 2-quart rate of the V. I'll follow up with one more a week or two later according to what the plant might need, how it looks visually. And then once we start to tassel, then I'll start moving over to the R product. I'll do two 2-quart rates there also. And then I cut those 2-quart rates to 1 each for 2 more times when we're getting close to filling out the kernels on the cob to make sure that the plant has sufficient energy to fill the ear out, to make it a good saleable ear for the public. Prior to being introduced to Monty's, I would only apply my UAN at planting time and use traditional commercial, sometimes blend, other times not, fertilizer off season to get ready for the year, but I've never had any tools to supplement the crop during the growing season. And the nice thing about Monty's is it's going on when I need it. We're not having the big bill up front in the spring of the year for fertilizer that I don't need. We're using a smaller amount at less cost, and I'm getting wonderful results, really quick turnaround. I'm amazed at how quickly the plants respond to the product. Our area has huge environmental concerns, particularly I'm an area just north of the Chesapeake Bay, and of course my streams end up in the Chesapeake Bay at some point in time. The smaller amounts of fertilizer I'm using and that it's all being utilized certainly is going to be a benefit. I'm not getting any runoff, and what excess falls off the plant goes into the soil, and we're still seeing continued use of that going into the fall year with cover crops.
We're going to go to a break here real quick, but one thing, Joe, I think that was really important to you to hear, and for me, I mentioned it to you, the environmental part of Monty's.
Yes, Ed touched base on that, and that is one of our focuses, and soil health does contribute to the environment, making it healthier, safer, cleaner, less runoff, all that kind of thing. And folks can find more of that out on our website at www.montysplantfood.com. There's many more testimonials there. There's a lot of the farmer interactions there, so they can find all of our products on there.
And a locator where they might find some Monty's products near them.
Exactly.
Very good. All right, and with that, we're going to return and take a break. We come back, we'll talk more about Monty's products, the fine folks from Monty's Plant Food Company. Welcome back Ray Tucker, producer from Kentucky, and we'll be taking your telephone calls all right here. Rural America Live continues with Monty's Plant Food right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to Rural America Live with Monty's Plant Food Company. We've been spending time tonight talking about the successes of Monty's products, especially Monty's liquid carbon, how they're contributing to soil health all around the country, all kinds of different products, produce as well as row crops as well. Lines are open, by the way, for your questions to the panel. With me again, Joe Dedman, Vice President of Agronomy for Monty's Plant Food. Chris Weaver from the mill. He's a sales agronomist with the mill in northern Maryland. And rejoining us, Ray Tucker. Hope you were able to hear from Ray earlier, but if not, Ray is a producer from Kentucky. Our lines are open, 877-731-6733. Joe, we spent a lot of time talking about the products here. But maybe just real quick, some of the other ones we haven't talked about, and some of the ones we have, just a little bit more detail. There's something for everyone, what their needs might be.
There is, and we have a lot of those on our website as well. But we're really excited about not only the AgriHance product that Ray and Chris have been talking about, but our new product is MicroHance. It's a mixture of micronutrients. And lots of farmers are really focusing on micronutrients today. Agri-N product is a nitrogen product. It's very easy to use. They can add it in with every spray pass they go across the field. And then, of course, we really like our Sulfur 15. It's a new product that actually has a humic component in it that is much like our other proprietary products, that it really provides a benefit when they apply it over the crop.
All right, and again, lines are open for you to join us. Time is getting short, though, so let's make sure if you have a question to get ready for 2014 and improving your soil health, this is the hour, and these are the folks that can help you get that done from Monty's Plant Food and producers that can testify and their dealers as well that it will work. 877-731-6733. Let's go to Minnesota. George has called us, and George up first now as we head toward home here with our folks from Monty's.
Well, I've got two questions. Number one, how is this liquid carbon different from the carbon sequestered in soil organic matter with no-till? And has the product been evaluated by land-grant universities?
Well, George, that's a great question because all organic matter actually produces a form of humic in the soil, that it's a more organic type humic. Our product is an activated liquid carbon product. Even though it has the name carbon in it, that's really not the major component of that product. It's a humic and fulvic based product in the fact that it's very activated. So the name kind of throws it off because a lot of farmers will do just like you, and they'll say, well, why in the world do I need to put more carbon in my soil, and I have a whole lot of carbon out there, especially if I am no-tilling. But this product actually will benefit and work with your no-till system along with conventional systems to not only help with the organic matter being converted into releasing nutrients and stuff for the crop, but it also helps to sequester the carbon that is in the soil, because that's the nature of this product. It's very unique. It's different than all the other humic products on the marketplace, and many of the universities are starting to take a look at that. I know we're going to do some trials in Iowa, especially this year, to help document some of that.
George, you had two questions you said, but that was one. Was there another one?
The other question was, has it been evaluated by a land-grant university independently along that lines, or by the Extension Service?
Sure.
Well, we would love for that to happen, George, but most of the land-grant universities are not up to speed on humics yet. This has been going on in the Northwest for quite some time, but over here in the East and in the Midwest, this is fairly new to a lot of the universities, and they're still looking at NPK and so forth like that, but humics really add a whole new dimension and a whole new component that you've heard Ray and Chris both talk about here on the show tonight. Because of our proprietary technology, we are able to really speed these things up and happening in the soil, but we are looking into more and more universities trying to take a look at that. So I hope to bring you more results on that in the future.
Folks, some of your partners back there mentioning North Carolina State. You've done some work there.
Very good results out of North Carolina State. Dr. Ron Heiniger has really provided some great results for us, and he continues to work with our product on wheat and corn and other crops, and he saw some really good data coming out of 2013.
Good. All right, thanks, George. Appreciate that call. Again, lines are open. Just a few minutes left here, though, to join us at 877-731-6733. Chris, over to you. And some of the data, you mentioned 2011, 2012 in your video, and 2013 wasn't the year weather-wise a lot of folks were hoping for, but never perfect. But share some new data with us.
Some of the new data that we were very fortunate to have this year, Mark, was we did soil test pits where we got to look at the roots, and that was really nice for producers that came out to our showcase event this year, where we applied 2 quarts of Monty's either with the 30% above, on top of the soil, or we did 2 quarts in row. They were very fortunate to see that the roots were taking off. We had extra hair roots that are established. We were setting 2 ears to a lot of the stalks that we were using in the field, let alone we were obtaining yields in fields we hadn't been able to achieve before. So it was really nice for the farmer to be able to get down into the pit, to look at the root system, to be able to see that what we're telling them is really happening and is going on in the soil. So it wasn't us having to really sit there and say, this is what it's doing. They could actually get down and see what was going on.
Yeah.
And in 2014, we're very fortunate that Monty's and I have gone ahead and we're doing a stalk test study where we're checking out their AgriSweet products and their liquid carbon products to see how we can manage stalk rot better.
And again, Joe, on the website, Monty's website, there's a lot more data, a lot more research they can go to.
Yes, absolutely. They can find a lot of information on there, along with our upcoming farm machinery show that will be there in Louisville. They can check us out there in the West Wing. We're there every year. We're at a lot of the shows in different states, so they can look us up at the different shows, and we're in those booths, and check us out wherever we are.
Very good. We're going to go to a caller real quick, but Ray Tucker from Kentucky, you mentioned root zone or root health, and really, I think more and more you producers like yourself digging down underneath there to see really what that does look like during the growing season.
It is from a producer standpoint. We're always concerned about what's going on top of the ground. Looking at the plant, what more do we need to spray on it? The thing that we're looking at now is, what's going on beneath the soil. So we're trying to do everything that we can to make the best out of our crop, and the rest of us up to the good Lord.
There you go. Absolutely. Let's go. Amen to that. Chris from Utah, thanks for calling. We're going to try to get you. We will get you in here before we have to say goodnight. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
I was wondering if we can apply this product to my center pivot irrigation onto my hay crop.
Yes, you can monitor our product. The liquid carbon happens to be an organic product, a non-corrosive product, so it will work very well through the irrigation system. I would put it on with each pass or every other pass, whatever works best for you. Our product is very easy to use, and we don't really want farmers to go to any trouble unless they want to. So I would just incorporate it in with some of your passes. Maybe it's a chemical pass, or maybe it's putting on nitrogen pass, and just add the carbon to that.
And thanks for the call, Chris. With that, we have to close our telephone lines. But Utah, an area where there'd be some Monty's.
Well, they can check us out on the locator. I'm not sure that.
Yeah, but that just tells you how far
they can get it direct.
You can get it direct, exactly. Yeah. We have just a couple of minutes left here. Actually, plenty of time to come on down the line, and each one of you for some closing thoughts. Ray Tucker, good to have you here, and your family as well. Great to meet them. Please come back and see us. What would you like to leave from the producer's standpoint, talking about soil health tonight?
Well, Mark, first of all, it's been a pleasure being here tonight, and really have enjoyed the experience. Just try it. And that's one thing that's so hard for a producer, even like myself, to do. If you're going to split a field, I know it's hard to, do a different tank mix in your sprayer, but that's the only way you're going to know. I mean, we've seen different results from, farms that have been in production in 2 years versus farms that have been in production for 30 years. And we're seeing different results from different CEC levels and different organic matter levels that we've seen, over the last, 3 years. And you just have to try the product and see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been working for us.
And as Joe said, I think leave a strip. Don't treat everything. Leave a little strip, and you'll know the treated and untreated. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Good job tonight. Come back and see us. Chris Weaver from The Mill, good to have you here, and good to see Ben again as well. What would you like to leave with our viewers and listeners?
I just want to say thank you again for having me on the show tonight, Mark. The one thing is like Ray said, get out and try the Monty's liquid carbon. If you just try 1 quart to 2 quarts, over the last few years, the Monty's team has made me a true believer in their product lines. The first step is getting out there and trying the liquid carbon. Before you step into the AgriHance and AgriSure products, start with the carbon. That'll really start to help you to improve your yields and to get a great crop out there in the field.
And folks out there in the East Coast would do well to check out The Mill, and tell us about that real quick.
You can really quick check us out at www.themillofbelair.com. All the agronomist phone numbers are on there, so feel free to pick up the phone and call us at any time.
Thank you. Good to see you again. Hope we can come out and see you in your part of the territory. Joe Dedman, always good to see you.
Oh, it's been great.
You have the last word.
Thank you so much, Mark. We've had a great time being on the program. We always have so much
absolutely
fun.
Good to see you.
And you make it so easy. Thank you for that. The message here tonight is again, kind of like Ray said, is just try our product. It has to work, or the farmer's not going to keep trying it. He's not going to keep using it. So our product's very easy to use. It's non-corrosive. Many of our products, we work hard on designing products and putting out products there's going to be a real benefit for the farmer.
Very good. Thanks for being here again. We'll always look forward to seeing Monty back once again. And with that, in case you're not able to get your questions answered, or you have questions that you weren't able to put into and get our telephones tonight, folks at Monty's will be manning their phone lines this evening until 10 p.m. Eastern. You can reach them at their toll-free number, and here it is, 800-978-6342. Again, toll-free, 800-978-6342. And again, those lines will be open until about 10 o'clock Eastern time tonight. We hope you learned some solutions tonight to the challenges you're facing out in the fields. And again, those additional questions for more information available at montysplantfood.com, or you call that 800 number again, 800-978-6342. From everyone at Monty's, The Mill, and from Shelbyville, Kentucky, I'm Mark Oppold. Thanks for joining us. Good night.